Good morning, Birmingham. This is the regular meeting of the Birmingham City Council. Today is Tuesday, January 21st. This morning, our invocation will be delivered by Reverend Kevin Mitchell, Associate Minister at First Baptist Church Woodlawn, and our Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Counselor Valerie Abbott. If you're willing and able, please stand.
All hearts and minds composed, we will go to the Lord in prayer. Most gracious and heavenly Father, mighty and holy Redeemer, we come before you this morning, O God, to give your name thanksgiving and praise, for you and you alone are worthy of adoration and worship. We also come before you, Father God, to pray for these your leaders whom you have set in place, Father God. Your word tells us to pray for our leaders, that we may lead a peaceable life, O Father God. Therefore, we lift them up before you, and we ask, most gracious Redeemer, that this session be a fruitful one. We ask, Lord God, that you deal with their hearts and minds, do that which is best for this city. Lord, my God, we ask, O God, that you bless them, their staff, and their families, O God. We ask that you let your face shine down upon them, O Lord, to give them grace, O Lord. And we ask this in Jesus' mighty name. Amen. Amen.
Please salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, Mr. Clerk. Could we
Morning,
please
sir.
have our roll call?
Councilmember Abbott.
Present.
Councilmember Clark.
Present.
Councilmember Moore.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Councilmember Smitherman.
Good morning.
Good morning. Councilmember Tate. Good morning. Councilmember Williams. Councilmember Woods. Good morning. Council President Pro Tem Alexander.
Good morning.
Good morning. Council President O'Quinn.
Present. Good morning. Council, we have the minutes of the October 1st, 8th, and 15th of 2024 before us.
Move approval for those minutes.
Second.
Okay, got a motion second. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay.
All right. Those minutes are approved. The minutes are not ready for the October 22nd, 2024 through January 14th, 2025 meetings. At this time, we'll have communications from Mayor Woodfin.
Mr. President, good morning. Good morning to the entire council. It's good to see you all this morning. Good morning to the general public as well, citizens of Birmingham. A few notes, Mr. President and council, first being holiday trash makeup. The short version, and I'll need y'all help sharing this on your platforms, just to remind your constituents in your individual districts. Each trash day is moved back one day this week. And I'll explain it in a little bit more detail. Those with the Monday trash and recycling pickup will have theirs removed today, January 21st. Again, each pickup day will move back one day, and then we'll resume our regular schedule next week due to the holiday yesterday. So those with typical Tuesday pickup will have their trash removed Wednesday, the 22nd. Those who have a Wednesday pickup will have their trash removed Thursday, the 23rd. And those with a Thursday pickup will have theirs removed Friday, the 24th. Again, the regular pickup schedule will resume next week. Recalling this new schedule, trash is picked up 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday. So Friday will always be the makeup day. That being the case, I just wanted to make sure that I share that information, and we'll continue to share it this week, but wanted to give it to you as well so you can share your individual communication platforms. As you know, the city continues to partner with the warming Jimmy Hill mission for a warming station, bless you, whoever that is, for a warming station that opened Sunday the 19th and will remain open around the clock and has remained open around the clock until midday tomorrow, Wednesday, January 22nd, for men, women, and families who are unhoused. Again, that's for men, women, and families unhoused or who lack sufficient heat in their homes. Just a couple notes on this. In addition, meals are served to all at the warming station. The address of the warming station is Jimmy Hell's Mission's former thrift store building, 1569 Cooper Hill Road. Transportation has been provided and will continue to be provided, and offering free shuttle service from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. to the warming station. Also, just want to shout out the Birmingham Police Department as well as the Birmingham Fire and Rescue Service. Not just this past winter event we had, but the last few days too. They're being very intentional about riding around if and when they see those in our community unhoused to engage and or assist and or offer a ride. Some take it, some don't, but I want to acknowledge them for going above and beyond the call of duty to assist those who are unhoused. I now would like to have come forward John Stone and Children's Aid Society, as well as anybody that is with Mr. Stone, as I bring to you a proclamation around Human Trafficking Awareness Month. So as stated, and forgive me, because there's also representatives from the Junior League as well, so don't beat me up, y'all. I apologize. The Junior League of Birmingham's Anti-Human Trafficking Committee has been working with End It Alabama, the state's Human Trafficking Task Force, in a concerted effort to have mayors across the state of Alabama declare the month of January as Human Trafficking Awareness Month. Alabama's Human Trafficking Awareness Month was established in January 2011 in observance of National Human Trafficking Awareness Day to proclaim the equality and freedom of all people, as well as to advocate for legislation, to educate leaders, and to encourage public awareness to various forms of human trafficking. And so at this time, I'll read a proclamation in part. And it states, whereas increase community education on how to identify victims of human trafficking, along with increased knowledge of local resources and services for those affected by these criminal actions, can help restore freedom and dignity to identified survivors, as well as help diminish the number of future victims. And whereas the efforts by our local communities to promote the yearly observance of Human Trafficking Awareness Month in January enacts one of the examples of an ongoing commitment in the United States and the state of Alabama to increase awareness of and to actively eradicate human trafficking. Now, therefore, I, Randall L. Woodfin, Mayor of the City of Birmingham, along with the Birmingham City Council, do hereby proclaim January 2025 as Human Trafficking Awareness Month in Birmingham, Alabama. And also want to encourage all residents to become more informed and aware about ways to prevent, to recognize, as well as to respond to potential victims of human trafficking in our community. And at this time, I would like to have Mr. Stone come up and share a few remarks.
Thanks to all of you. Good morning. I'm John Stone, Director of Advancement for Children's Aid Society of Alabama, organization that has been around since 1912 here in Birmingham and offices around the state. Before I introduce a very few of our many, many supporters, I want to take a moment of personal privilege if I can. I'm a 25-year resident of 5 Points South. I've raised my 3 daughters in 5 Points South. My wife and I have lived there since moving here to Birmingham from Washington, D.C. in 2000. I would be remiss if I didn't thank Councilwomen Abbott and Smitherman for all you do for our community, all of you, in fact, for 5 Points South and the mayor. We're very proud of our community. We're very proud of our neighborhood. And just know you've got wonderful families that live in that neighborhood and that use that public space on a daily basis, so we appreciate it. With me today are John Douglas from Children's Aid Society, We've got representatives from the Children's Trust Fund, Alicia Roper. We've got Jada Lucas from Children's Aid Society. We've got Holly Holiday Jones from the Junior League of Birmingham. We have Helen from the Federal Bureau of Investigations. We've got Constable Deloach from Jefferson County, and we've got Becca from Trafficking Hope. We've got a lot of supporters. Last year at this time, we had 86 communities that joined us around the state in doing proclamations for Child Trafficking Awareness Month. This year, year to date, we've had 112. Communities throughout the state are recognizing the importance, but it is led by the city of Birmingham. Since the year 2017, on a quarterly basis, you have trained all recruits in the Birmingham Police Department on awareness and identification of human trafficking. You lead the state in what we do and our efforts, and we are grateful to you for it. Children's Aid Society took over this initiative from Children's Policy Cooperative in 2020, 2021, and we believe mightily in the mission, the importance, and the work that we do. I'm going to let Constable Deloach close us out with a very personal story. She has been with us since day one and does a tremendous job in telling why this issue is something that we are all aware of. Thank you.
Good morning, council, mayor, and everyone else here. I wanted to personally say this is such an honor to stand before you and to see movement and progress when it comes down to our children being trafficked. Some of you might know my story, but my daughter was trafficked in 2015, and a guy got her and sold her through 5 different states, put on heroin and cocaine at 16 years old. We put her in the hospital for a whole year. She never received the help that she needed. So my baby ended up getting out. The trafficker came back to get her. And now my daughter is sitting in Lee County Jail on capital murder charges. There was no hope and no help in 2015 to help my child. And now I have people that are working with me to help her. And she's been there for a long time, but they didn't look at her as a victim. And I'm here, and I have tears of joy on the inside of me, just basically thanking everybody that put up this fight to help us stop trafficking and stop these people from getting our kids. People don't understand when they get our children, our children can just be runaways. I know a lot of people say these children are fast and they don't, we're not going to look for them. They just ran away. But guess what? What if they got into the trafficking's hands, the traffickers? And then guess what the trafficker going to do? They're going to lure your child in because they're going to give them what they need. So it's best, that's why we rescue victims and missing persons to prevent these things from happening. And talk to these young children about these apps, these games that they're on. There's chat sites, all of these games from the PlayStation, the Xbox, Roblox, all of them, there are chat sites. And these sick predators, they prey on your kids in these chat sites and have them doing weird things. So we want you guys to know that this is real and this is a real fight. And it takes all of us to stand up and say no more. We're going to stand up for our kids. I didn't get this help. Now it's help available. So I'm here to say we're standing together to saying no more. Thank you, Mayor and Council and everyone else. Thank you. I'm Constable Deloach. Thank you.
Good. Councilor Smithman.
Thank you, Mr. President. So this is probably the first year in maybe 4 years I'm not on the Junior League Human Trafficking Committee, and that's only because I'm Public Affairs Chair now, and they told me I can do both. But I really appreciate the work that you all do. I'm also the Outreach Coordinator for the Alabama Human Trafficking Task Force. And a lot of people don't realize, like, this is still happening. Just because you don't hear about it every day, it doesn't mean, kids aren't getting snatched up. And a lot of times people don't realize it's family members that actually traffic our kids, which is actually really horrifying to know. I've just seminars and talks, hear about people like their own parents, 5, 6-year-olds trafficking, having different men pick them up for dance practice or for after school care. And then, also realizing that it's men and women. A lot of times we hear about women, but a lot of men get trafficked and they're ashamed of it because of what happens to them. So I really thank you all for the work you do. I thank Mayor Woodfin. He's been fighting this for about 6 years, and thank you for helping me to do this. And whatever you all need from us, just let us know.
Well, Mr. Stone, thank you. Thank all the organizations. Councilor Smith, you've been very passionate about this issue. I want to thank you for your heart in this matter, as the Junior League as well. And then, Ms. Constable, your story is, I'm not even sure what words to actually use, but I want to thank you for reminding us why this work is important. As I close out, Mr. President and Council, I have one more note of importance. Chaz, what date? Council, please recall October 8th. You supported, and we appreciate you supporting the $16 million recruitment and retention plan. Now, the information I'm about to share, I owe you in writing, but I wanted to give you an update because you deserve an update since you've approved this funding, what we've actually done on one portion of it. And so the portion I'm speaking to this morning is just on recruitment, not retention. I wanted to provide you all an update on the recruitment portion of the $16 million investment you supported back in October. Since then, we've had 111 people have shown interest in becoming Birmingham police officers. 111. Now that number is significant because that's literally just since November. I'm gonna give you the actual date. That's just since November 16th of 2024. So that's right at 2 months, to be exact. I want to break that number down for you. 111 people actually took the physical agility and ability screening. The first screening since you passed this for this plan was November 16th. There were 23 participants. 7 passed, 16 failed. Then December 14th, there was another physical agility fitness screening. There were 45 participants at this one. 29 passed, 16 failed. Then January 18th, which was this past Saturday, we had 43 participants. 22 passed, 21 failed. So as you see from each class, those numbers got better as it relates to the rate. Please also recall, so just a little math and some other things that were picked up from since 2024. Currently, there are 52 candidates are currently being vetted for the hiring process for the March class Police Academy. Again, that number is 52. Also, please recall that there are 28 recruits currently in the class that started in November. Again, this is post your passing of the $16 million. And then, if you were unaware, there were 10 recruits that just graduated in the class 2 weeks ago. And then there are currently 10 officers that are being vetted as it relates to making a lateral transfer back into our police department or coming into our police department. And that 10 is not included in this 111. 2 more notes. So the 2025 class schedules for the new recruits are March 25th. That's the next class. Class after that will be July 29th of this year. And the third recruiting class will be November 18th of this year. And there will be another agility test and screening this upcoming Saturday, the 25th at 8 a.m. On 6th Avenue South at the Police Academy. And this is for also to participate in that March 25th class. And Mr. President and Council, that concludes my report. And you'll get this information that I've just shared in writing.
Council Moore,
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for the report, Mr. Mayor. I did have a question about the individuals who took the agility test and didn't pass. Do we, just kind of throw them to the side and say, all right, cool, that's it? Or do we still kind of work with them to, apply again so that, we don't lose out on those individuals who have already expressed
Absolutely.
that they want to
So
work with us?
There is, and forgive me for not having Chief Pickett or Deputy Chief Malden here to speak. You want to speak to it?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I work out with a lot of the ones that did not quite pass. James Gibbs at the Police Academy does a great job of training them in a remedial sense to get them to where they need to be. I always like to retake the physical agility test with them to show them that, like, even I can do it. Anybody can do it, right?
So you make them feel bad.
So anyway, they'll go back. I mean, he'll train them for 6 months if they need to, but it's up to them to stick with it and show up to work out. It's completely free to them, and so it's a great opportunity for someone that's
Program's called GRIT, G-R-I-T.
grit. I didn't know it had a name because I'm doing it, and I would I don't know if I'd name anything I'm doing grit, but anyway. Anyway, it's interesting to see them progress from not being able to do it to being able to do it.
Thank you.
Counselor Abbott?
Yeah, I wanted to say that I work at the same fitness center.
work out with them too?
Yeah, and I can do the part where they do outdoors, but it's those push-ups.
I hadn't seen you push the car.
Oh, I can push the car.
You can push the car?
I
Okay.
can push the car by myself.
Look at you.
But it's those push-ups. It's those push-ups that get me. They're just hard to do. But at my age, I don't think the police department wants me, so I'm not worried about it. But I wanted to say something about the human trafficking folks that are here, and I appreciate them being here. And I'm concerned about, I was contacted during all this discussion we've had of short-term rentals by some people who said that short-term rentals were very dangerous because no one is looking to see who's going in and out, except Mrs. Kravitz, who's peeping out the curtains. So I'm wondering about what kind of educational information there is for average citizens who live in a neighborhood and see what's going on but maybe don't know what they're seeing. I know you train people at hotels and motels and police departments and all those kind of places, but how do you reach the people, the actual just plain old residents?
Absolutely. That's a great question, Counselor Abbott. We do trainings through, as you mentioned, hotels, motels, law enforcement, et cetera, restaurateurs. To reach the general public, we do trainings, again, through the Junior League. We do trainings in neighborhood associations, in churches, in community centers, anywhere that there is an audience. And you raise a great point because that is an issue affecting my personal neighborhood with short-term rentals. We have not yet trained the neighborhood association, for instance, in 5 Point South, but that is something that we should look at doing. We also, and I've got packets for each of you that I will leave with Counselor Smitherman. One mission, one voice. It's called the Blue Campaign. It is a singular voice with instructions and information on how to reach out to what we do for anyone in the community.
Well, that's good. I'm just
And short-term
concerned
rentals
about
is
outreach to the average Joe who maybe doesn't even think about it. But the thought of especially child trafficking just sends shivers up my spine. I can't imagine the kind of people who do that.
Right.
And it's sickening, but if it's out there, all of us need to be aware, and the outreach to your average person who's distracted, by living, you might not have access to the information.
Right. And my very personal, and this is my thought, to reach the 99 neighborhoods through the associations and through the community gatherings that are done, we have got to prioritize that in the next year to 2 years.
Well, I even thought about, door hangers like we do when we're campaigning. If you knock on somebody's door and they don't answer, you put a door hanger, even to have something as simple as that to alert people to what the signs are of people being trafficked, because there are ways to tell, but you have to know.
You do.
Or you might
That's a
not
great idea with
notice,
door
you might
hangers.
not notice anything, but it just occurs to me because our neighborhoods are important to us and we want people to be safe, but we also want everybody to know, to be watching for what's going on.
Yes, thank you.
So,
Council Moore?
Thank you, Mr. President. I know several years ago, was a lady by the name, I want to say it was Julia Myers with Junior League, who was a huge advocate for this initiative. And she used to always do workshops in different neighborhoods. I'm in agreement with Councilor Abbott that, not only do we need to have those same things happening at our neighborhood associations, but even our schools with our young people. One of the things that was very alarming to me that, was brought out of some of those workshops that I went to was that, there are times when even students are groomed to, recruit other young
fellow
people.
students.
And folks don't really consider that to be a space that they need to, look at. But just making sure that, your children even know what signs or verbiage or, activities to look for when somebody is trying to groom them or recruit them into that space. And so I think, Constable Deloge brought up a really good point about, video games. And I'm a huge, advocate for people monitoring what their children are, being exposed to all the time. These are not the Sonics of, back in the day, right? Like these are video games where they're actually, conducting real business that can happen in life. People are selling things, people are communicating with folks all over the place, and you just don't know, what your child is doing. So those spaces need to be monitored. And so, yeah, I really think that, engaging our schools as well to provide them with the information that they need to know would be helpful.
That's very helpful. Thank you for that. And I will say, you mentioned the Junior League. All of our partners are tremendous in this. We are fortunate as a city to have the Junior League of Birmingham with all of the initiatives that they do, all of the care they put into their communities. It's critical. And yes, they've been doing it for years. And Councilor Moore, I'd say the first time I was introduced to you was at a Strive Birmingham graduation ceremony for workforce development. Important work that groups like that are doing. So thank you.
Mr. President, Council Moore and Julia Myers was kind of my mentor because I was on the committee. Junior League just did something with young girls, 12 and younger, and they brought a mom and daughter duo where the daughter was actually trafficked and was from online. And so they teach the kids, different symbols online, what to look for. It's a really good seminar. Maybe Junior League, you all can have more of those. And I know Julia was doing neighborhood association meetings. We were doing those before the pandemic, but I think that's something, we can talk to Junior League about doing that more.
Let's do it.
Because it's so important. And then also, there are certain things, if you see somebody, you can give out. We've done the signs in the restrooms, at the airports, etc. I think we were trying to do the recreation centers. I don't know if that ever, did we finish that? No? It's in progress? Okay. So, I think we just need to, like everyone else is saying, revamp that back up, so.
Thank you. Okay. Council, without objection, will suspend the rules for a couple of presentations. So it's a new year, and we're thinking about new opportunities. So we wanted to invite a couple of guests this morning to talk about entrepreneurship. So this morning we have Dr. Patrick Murphy, who's the UAB Entrepreneurship Program Chair, and also works with the Central Alabama Redevelopment Alliance Entrepreneurship lab. So he coaches folks who are thinking about starting a business. So Dr. Murphy, come tell us about the programs.
Good morning, Mayor Woodfin, members of the City Council, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor to be here. I'm Patrick J. Murphy, Goodrich Entrepreneurship Chair of the Bearfield Entrepreneurship Program in the Collat School of Business at UAB. I'm here to tell you about a program called the Entrepreneur Lab that we launched recently in coordination with the Central Alabama Redevelopment Alliance. And I wish to acknowledge the leadership of CARA's CEO, Mr. Jeremy Duckworth, and thank him, along with Ms. Maisha Hutchinson and Counselor Darrell O'Quinn, for inviting me here today. UAB recruited me in 2018 from the city of Chicago, where I was a full professor at DePaul University and very active in Chicago's entrepreneurial ecosystem. UAB wanted a high-impact entrepreneurship program to serve the whole Birmingham ecosystem because they knew entrepreneurship drives economic development and fuels community resilience. It was a leap of faith for me and for my wife, who has her own professional career, but she believed me when I told her it'd be a great move, and we made the leap to Birmingham confidently, and it's been an excellent move. If I may, just a brief history of the Bearfield Entrepreneurship Program to illustrate how we make an impact and why this CARA project is so important to us. I'll start with a few facts. Number one, 80% of new jobs come from the entrepreneurial sector, and that's industry agnostic. Number two, when those entrepreneurs fill those jobs, they can't afford to wait 6 months for a new hire to get up to speed. They need value immediately. Number three, nobody prepares new hires to add value immediately better than entrepreneurship programs at urban universities like UAB. And number four, successful entrepreneurs before branching out on their own usually work for other entrepreneurs first. So by placing our aspiring entrepreneurs with existing entrepreneurs, we're preparing them for entrepreneurship. We've also incubated some extremely successful entrepreneurs who've launched firms while in the program, but most of our learners aren't ready to do that yet. So we develop them via external engagements like the Entrepreneur Lab with CARA. Our program owes its success to the city of Birmingham and its communities. We launched in 2020 after 2 years of developing a bachelor's degree program that has the finest entrepreneurship curriculum in the country. But we couldn't have built that curriculum without President Watts and UAB leadership. We've raised almost $7 million in our short history, which is unheard of for such a young program, for programming and scholarships for students who may not otherwise be able to attend university. But we couldn't have raised it without Mr. Bearfield, Mr. Aldag, Ms. Benson, Mr. Hodge, Ms. Peoples, and many other generous supporters sharing the vision. Our 2024 year-over-year enrollment growth was 378%, the fastest in the business school, but that growth is because of students and their families here in our city and state seeing the value of entrepreneurship for their communities and for their futures. And finally, the Bearfield Entrepreneurship Program was named Top Emerging University Program in the country in 2022, and we hosted a major entrepreneurship conference in Birmingham in 2024. The conference brought about 800 entrepreneurs and educators from across the U.S. and 15 other countries to our city. It showed them all how awesome Birmingham is, and it made an almost $1 million economic impact on our city, according to the Convention and Visitors Bureau. But we couldn't have done any of that without City of Birmingham leadership. I should thank Mayor Woodfin because, I don't know where he went. Okay, well, thank you, Mayor Woodfin, because a few years ago he recorded a short video for us expressing support for our program as part of our program award application, and it helped us win a highly competitive national honor. Now that may seem like a small thing, but I can tell you, in the city of Chicago, even if you know the mayor, you're not getting a video like that. But here, I asked my friend Dion and if he could help me, and I had it the next day. That spirit of community is powerful. And so the Entrepreneur Lab with CARA is based on the very same spirit of community. The entrepreneurs in CARA's network, many of whom are running successful businesses and many others who are just getting started, seek the human capital, networking, and resources that only the Bearfield Entrepreneurship Program can provide. In turn, they offer opportunities for the BEP to achieve its mission in ways only they can provide. You see, we believe theory without practice is pointless and practice without theory is blind. Teaching results in the best learning when students put theory into practice. Entrepreneurship results in world-class practice when it is grounded in unimpeachable thought leadership. We welcome entrepreneurs from the CARA community to our space at Innovation Depot every Friday. They network, they discuss their businesses. Here are some photos of the gatherings. I
right there. There you go. Some of those were taken on Friday. You can see the entrepreneurs. You can see other visitors interacting with one another. Universities have incredible international and national networks, which we bring to bear on these interactions, and it helps everybody involved. Urban business schools like UAB are at their best when they engage the local communities in which they are embedded. We're very proud of the new Entrepreneur Lab project with Kara. Indeed, we're building a culture of outreach in the Collat School of Business. We do have other current projects right now with Bush Hills and with 16th Street Baptist Church. Our outreach culture is embraced by my dean, Chris Shook, and my many faculty colleagues, some of whom are here today, along with some of our students. And of course, it is embraced very passionately by our students from all over Greater Birmingham. They don't need to be convinced of the value of this kind of education. They get it. That gives us a strong sense of optimism and hope because they are the future leaders of our great city and its communities. Thank you.
Thank you. And for folks who want to learn more about the entrepreneurship program, I know Kara's website is karanow.org. Do you guys have a website for the UAB program?
We do. You can find it through the business school. It's a little bit clunky. The Kara one is probably better, to be perfectly honest, but I'm very easy to find. You can reach out to me. My team is ready to engage with any entrepreneurs who are interested in engaging with our program.
Okay. Councilor Moore?
Yes, and I just wanted to thank Dr. Murphy as well. I actually had an opportunity to attend that conference because my wife was actually speaking on the panel, Alicia Levels Moore, and so I applaud you for the work that you're doing. I've actually seen where you've, had different entrepreneurs coming through and talking to your students and, just kind of giving them insight on what it's like to be an entrepreneur and all the things that, come along with it, the highs, the lows, and ups and downs. And so thank you for the work that you're doing in our city.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. Also, if folks want to reach out directly to you, how do they get in touch with you?
You're welcome to send me an email, pjmurphy@uab.edu. Anytime. I'm pretty much always available that way.
All right. Thank you.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
it.
Thank you, all of you, for your leadership.
Also, this morning we have with us Danielle Hines, who leads Creed 63, and she's going to tell us about the PACE program at Creed 63. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much for having us. My name is Danielle Hines. I'm the owner and founder of Creed 63. I've been before you all a few times before. Needless to say, Creed 63 is growing. We were recently given a grant by Prosper for $250,000 to fund a program that we created called PACE. PACE stands for Providing Access to Capital Equality. What we found, even though we're a co-working space, is that a lot of our members had two main and major pain points when it came to their business. One was financing, access to capital, and understanding that capital, and then the other was the legal assistance that small businesses need. As a result of that, we created this program, but we didn't have the funding to be able to actually implement it. Prosper came along with their grant, OBB, and they granted us the funds to be able to not only have 75 small businesses run through the program, but also it allowed us to create a full-time position. That full-time position is our program manager, and I'm going to allow her to present the program and the wonderful success that we've had with this first cohort.
Good morning, Council. Thank you for having us here. I had a PowerPoint. I don't know if you guys have access to it or not, but I did send out a PowerPoint. But I'll just go through my talking points here. Again, my name is Hallie Chambers. I'm the program manager for the PACE program at Creed 63. This program is a 16-week long program. It's for business owners who have been in business for at least 1 year and who are able to share or provide first year or most recent tax return. The program also covers several topics throughout those 16 weeks, including but not limited to things like tax planning, budgeting, personal and business credit management. So topics that business owners generally tend to kind of stray away from because they don't have that expertise or that knowledge base. So we're trying to fill that gap by, just making sure that they are prepared to stand in front of lenders, funders, bankers, that sort of thing. So as far as who can apply, again, they have to have been in business for at least 1 year, be able to share 1 year's worth of tax returns, be located in Birmingham, of course, and also just be interested in or be serious about pursuing capital, I'd say within the first year. So the second cohort actually begins on February the 25th. And so the application for this cohort is February 11th. And I've shared a flyer with you guys with the QR code for people to actually apply for the program. But I can resend it as well. But there is a flyer with the QR code. On the slides is my contact information. So if you guys know of anyone, if you have any ideas for how we can just spread the word throughout the 99 neighborhoods, that would be very helpful as well. But yeah, that's it. Any questions?
One thing that I wanted to ask you about is we have a lot of folks in the community that may be thinking about, starting a business. And as you guys talked about, access to capital is one of the biggest challenges. And in addition to that, access to capital when you don't have the best credit score is even more difficult. So do you guys provide credit counseling towards that end?
Yes, sir. So we've collaborated, or we are collaborating with Operation Hope. So this organization has provided us with a local business coach or credit coach who actually helps them build stronger credit, both personal credit and business credit. So the goal is to help them, create credit or increase their credit score so they'll be more attractive to lenders.
Excellent. Other questions? All right. So kind of the bottom line is that, it's a new year, and if you're thinking about starting your own business, these are just a couple of examples here this morning of many different programs that are available throughout the city. So this can be your year.
Yes.
Check out Creed 63 and also Central Alabama Redevelopment Alliance.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Councilman, I just wanted to share, I wanted to introduce Eric Flowers. I know all of you know Eric, but we have a phenomenal team at Creed 63, and I just wanted to take this time to recognize them. It's a team of 3, and we support over 300 small businesses in the Birmingham area. So we are making a huge impact, and the program that Prosper has funded is only funded for 1 year. So we have 3 cohorts total. We're halfway through the first one. So we have the second one coming, and then we'll have one more towards the end of the year. So.
Right. And that deadline for applying for the next cohort is February 11th, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Great.
Thank you so much.
All right. We'll return to our agenda now. Mr. Clerk, do we have any nominations to boards and agencies?
No, sir.
All right. This time I'll read our statement on the conduct of business. All items designated as consent are routine and non-controversial and will be approved by one motion. All items on the consent agenda will be announced by reading the item numbers only. No separate discussion of these items will be permitted unless a council member or the mayor requests the item be removed from the consent agenda. Additionally, a citizen interested in addressing the council with respect to an item on the consent agenda designated for public hearing may request the item be removed from the consent agenda to hold the hearing on the item. Any items removed from the consent agenda will revert to its normal place on the agenda order of business. For remaining matters, all matters of permanent operation will be read and all public hearings will be announced. Mr. Clerk, could we please read through the items on our consent agenda?
Okay, consent agenda for today starts on page 2 with items 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Go over to page 3 and we have items 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 on consent. Page 4, we have items 11, 12, and 13 on consent. Please note that item 12 recommended by the Public Safety Committee. Page 5, we have items 14, 15, and 16 on consent. Page 6, items 17 and 18 are on consent. Page 7, items 20, 21, 22, and 23 are on consent. Page 8, items 24, 25, 26, and 27 are on consent. Page 9, items 28, 29, 30, and 31 are on consent. And we conclude with item 32 on page 10.
Okay, do any members of the council wish to add or remove an item from the consent agenda?
Mr. President,
Councilor Smitherman?
can we remove items 11 and 13?
That's page 4, item 11, and item 13. Any others? Okay. We also have items 1 through 6, which are public hearing items. Do any members of the public wish to remove any of those items from the consent agenda? Seeing none, we are ready for a motion on the consent agenda.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded, Williams and Smitherman.
Give me
We're ready for the vote.
I gotta put Council Williams in, sorry. Smitherman, second. Okay, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
The consent agenda is approved. Item 11, please.
Item 11. Item 11. A resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a project agreement between the city of Birmingham and Dolgen Corp. LLC, doing business at DG Market, under which DG Market will lease, rehabilitate, and remodel existing retail space located at 833 Dennison Avenue Southwest, Birmingham, Alabama 35210. Formerly Save-A-Lot, food stores in the Heritage Park Town Center, delivering everyday low prices on items such as meats, fruits, vegetables, dairy, beverages, snacks, health and beauty aids, cleaning supplies, basic apparel, housewares, and more to meet the needs and desire of shoppers in local neighborhoods in an amount up to but not to exceed $600,000 pursuant to amendment number 772. Motion, please.
Second.
Item is before you.
All right. Councilor Smitherman.
If we could just have an overview of the item.
Yes, ma'am, Counselor. We'll have Mr. Cornell Wesley come in and give the overview.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Cornell Wesley, and I serve as the Director for the Department of Innovation and Economic Opportunity. What's before you today is an incentive agreement backfilling the old Save-A-Lot located on Dennison Avenue. Unfortunately, without notice, the previous tenant vacated the space, creating a void at the Heritage Town Center. And working with the landowner as well as its representation, we were able to partner with Dollar General to backfill this space. I would also add that the existing 19 stores that are in Birmingham that Dollar General also operates, 14 are in Birmingham. Of that 14, 11 of them, as of today, now also offer fresh produce as well as meat. So this particular project was all-inclusive and also backfilling a vacant space while simultaneously upgrading existing Dollar Generals to ensure that fresh produce would be an offering to our community. I'm joined today by representation from the landowner who can speak to the lack of activity that this space received or the lack of interest thereof, which is what necessitated this incentive opportunity for Dollar General. Happy to entertain any additional questions.
Councilor Smith.
Yeah, can we hear from the landowner?
Morning.
Good morning.
Jack Little with Red Rock Realty Group.
Tommy Joyce with Red Rock Realty Group.
We have been working with the owner of this center who acquired the property about 18 months ago. Red Rock began our management and leasing at the same time. Shortly thereafter, maybe a month or so after, as Cornell mentioned, Save-A-Lot left with really abruptly in the middle of the night with lots of term left on the lease, several years of term left on the lease, putting the landlord in a pretty difficult spot, as that was the anchor for that center when he acquired it. So it's been vacant since. It's been about well over a year, about 16 months. We have pursued several grocers to backfill that space, as that's part of our service we provide is leasing and marketing, and have struggled to find any serious interest. The current group before you today has been working on this project since at least May that we know of, so going on 8 months or so. Has done tremendous amounts of due diligence on this site. We have struggled to find any real other interest to backfill as a grocery, which is important to the landlord who has made significant investments into the center since acquiring, which my partner Tommy has worked in more detail with and may want to speak to some of those investments he's made. But one of the things we've seen with this project is that the equipment, it's not so simple as just a grocery store could step in and take it as is. We've appraised and assessed this equipment in the space, and they've deemed it basically will have to be torn out. In fact, the Save-A-Lot had, without our knowledge, sold a lot of that equipment, but we deemed it as not even valuable. The appraiser essentially said it's not worth anything. So they will be making big investments into this physical space, the interior space, but our client has made a lot of investments generally to the exterior and other improvements. Tommy may speak to that just briefly on what he's done.
Sure. As Jack mentioned, it was, I think, August 9th when the sale of the property closed, and it was about 3 weeks later when we showed up and Save-A-Lot had a notice on the door on one Friday morning that they had closed, and it was unbeknownst to the owner when he was going through due diligence to purchase the center. So right out of the gate, it strapped the property for cash pretty bad, but our client went ahead with upgrades to the lighting, all new LED lighting at the shopping center. They took down some awnings that were really an eyesore on the front of the center and repainted the front and back of the center, and put a considerable expense into freshening it up. And it's been a struggle just ever since then, over the last year, to keep up, but they're committed. And as Jack mentioned, Save-A-Lot, it's an old antiquated space. The franchisee of Save-A-Lot was just 2 years into a 10-year lease when they abruptly left. So, we've been working with Dollar General, and I think their fresh food market is really the only grocery opportunity that we've seen in marketing the space. So it's been a challenge. So hopefully we're at the point to move forward with them.
Councilor Clark.
Thank you. I just wanted to ask the owner's reps, does the leasing structure of a grocery anchored strip mall like this make the whole center vulnerable when the grocery anchor is gone? Like, do other people have a right to break their lease?
They do. In fact, we've had to, I guess Rainbow Fashions was one of the other tenants. Luckily, I guess Rainbow being more of a national type tenant had co-tenancy language in there that we had to work through, which further really hampered the owner with lease income coming in over the project. We've worked out Rainbow to stay, and that was really the only tenant. So once we put, if Dollar General goes in, we don't have any other, luckily, I think, provisions in the current tenant leases. And going forward, we're going to make sure that we don't tie anything into an anchor or sub-anchor tenant being able to break a lease if they should vacate.
I'll add one additional comment. This space is, when the center was built in the early 90s, was I believe a food world.
Food fair, food world.
It's Food World.
Food world.
The infrastructure that was originally there was for a 45,000 foot full anchor grocery that's been since pared down to this space is about half of that. But there's a long history in this center and certainly the demand there for this anchor being critical for grocery, which was important to the current owner when he purchased it and certainly important to the neighborhood. And we've had, anytime we're over there, we have cars driving in, especially right after they close that were looking to, would stop us and ask. And it's certainly been a focal point for the neighborhood as well. So I'll just add that as well.
Other questions? Councilor Pro Tem Alexander?
I just wanted to ask if there'd been any update on the property that's going to be vacated that's very close to here. Any idea, like, do they have a lease term that'll continue at that location that will prevent the backfill of that property, or is that something you can speak to?
What I can say is that at your request, we posed that question, and what we anticipated was them keeping that information proprietary at this time. We do know that there's still a lease in place till 2029, but I cannot speak to what they will do or what will be the use of the space.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question. So, I'm sorry, Pro Tem Alexander.
Thank you, Mr. President. I do want to say that I'm very excited for this type of project to take place, even though this isn't District 7. It's very close to District 6, and it gives options for meats, fresh fruits, and vegetables for additional people, not only in District 6. So I'm excited to see this type of model. I know as you mentioned, 11 of 16 other businesses in the city of Birmingham, and I'm familiar with a couple of those locations. So I was excited when I went into those stores and saw the fresh fruits and vegetables. So is this an additional service that will be done in this particular store, or are you already have a footprint for having that in other stores?
So this is one of their new products, a full-service grocery. It's called DG Fresh Market. It will be the first one in the city of Birmingham, but not the first one in the state. There's one in Huntsville, and uniquely, when we initially started this undertaking, we went to Huntsville with a contingent of some of our community members to tour the site and to get a better feel what could potentially be possible for Birmingham. Okay. So it is a full-service grocery store with fresh produce as well as meats.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. So you mentioned that this would be the first one in the city of Birmingham. So there's a DG Market in the former CVS in Eastlake on First Avenue North. So how are those
That's
two?
part of the conversion that took place of the other ones that I mentioned.
Okay.
So of the 11 that are in Birmingham, 2 would have been correct that have been able to convert to the DG Fresh Market. This one obviously will be 2 or 3 times the square footage amount, so more akin to a Walmart neighborhood grocery market model.
Okay, thank you. And then my other question was, were there any incentive agreements? I know this is not, what's before us right now, but just out of curiosity, was there any incentive agreement with the Save-A-Lot to be in that space? And,
Yes.
And if so, are we trying to claw back?
Well, fortunately, the way our incentive agreements are traditionally structured for grocery stores is that they're performance-based, so they're paid in arrears, which is the case for Save-A-Lot. So given that there's no performance, there's no additional incentive to be paid.
Gotcha, thank you.
Mr. President, and that was a question I actually asked Mr. Wesley when Save-A-Lot left, because we did give them a nice incentive agreement we all voted on. And so that was very devastating because the mayor didn't know about it, Cornell didn't, nobody knew about it. They just kind of up and left. And so that left a void. But I do want to thank Red Rock because I don't remember if I talked to you all, but when it first happened, you all were very attentive. You answered my questions and you fulfilled your promise because you said that your client was going to improve the facade of the shopping center. And it looks so amazing. And just seeing all that activity still being there, we still have the McDonald's, we still have all the shopping. I think every single shopping venue is filled, and at one point it wasn't filled. And so I really appreciate Cornell because there has always been a grocery store, and it's very dear in my heart because literally it would be a 10-minute walk. But my parents' house is in the neighborhood adjoining. My great grandmother bought her house in the 70s, so my family saw where there was nothing there to something, and so like Madam Pro Tem was saying, it really affects everybody on the west side because we'll say my parents, for example, they either have to go all the way down to Publix downtown, which isn't far, but if you're trying to get something very quickly, that's not quick, or you go to Homewood, or you have to go to Piggly Wiggly in West End, which is a great grocery store. But 70% Birmingham is a food desert, and so I think this is going to be amazing. I know, Cornell, you went to tour the one in Huntsville, so it's like a neighborhood market concept like Walmart. And I really appreciate it. I'm so thankful for it. I really, really am. Like, I can't even tell you how thankful I am for it. But I do have one question. How many jobs will this create?
So their average footprint in their neighborhood is somewhere between 25 to 35 full-time, some which are part-time associates. So it will be a tremendous economic impact from a new job perspective. And hopefully we'll see some of those coming out of the west side of Birmingham, some of those citizens as well.
Okay. And when you went to Huntsville, I'm sure you guys talked to Dollar General as well, the quality of the food, because that's a big thing with my residents, is the quality. Because when Save-A-Lot, and I shop there too, Save-A-Lot food, it wasn't that fresh. It would literally expire the same day you would get it. So can you speak to the quality of it?
Yes. So again, in conjunction with citizens of Birmingham who were able to attend, I took the position to really just listen to them to make certain they were comfortable with the style and the presentation of the product. And I can say wholeheartedly that the freshness was not a concern, that they were committed to ensuring that they provided fresh produce as well as fresh meat.
And is this an opportunity to expand this to other districts that have food deserts?
Well, that is certainly our hope, is that we can prove the concept in an area. And again, uniquely, this is an economic anchor that traditionally doesn't get backfilled with the same sort of grocer. And so being able to prove this not once, but now twice, we hope that what we're communicating to the broader community is that first, Birmingham is open for business, and secondly, that we will be aggressive in recruiting you to our community. So our hope is that this will be able to be duplicated across the city.
Okay. Well, thank you. I'm so grateful. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. Wesley, before you leave, so this has been a couple of years ago, so, but we set aside funds specifically for recruiting grocery stores, and if I remember correctly, it was $2 million.
Correct.
That we said this is going to be in place for trying to get more grocery stores in the city. Where are we in terms of that fund?
That is the source of the funding for this incentive.
Okay.
So we have drawn down twice, one for the food giant on the west side, and this being the second one for the Dollar General on Denison. So we would still have some resources available to continue to recruit, but our hope is that this council will see the benefit of that investment and the results of it, and hopefully we can present a request for additional funding for that recruitment tool.
Okay. I'm thinking forward to the upcoming budget cycle. So, yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Councilor Moore.
With that question, I did have a question about the village market on the eastern side. Is that fund also being used to help to get that grocery store started as well?
Yes. So when ideally that would the answer would be yes, but we can't truly answer that until a formal request has been made by the village market. We have some preliminary discussions and understand what they're hoping to accomplish and look forward to partnering with them at the appropriate time.
Thank you.
Mr. Clerk, I believe we're ready for the vote.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay.
Item 11 is approved. Item 13, please.
Item 13, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute and deliver a First Amendment to the Good Jobs Challenge civil agreement under which the city will provide funding to the Women's Foundation of Alabama for a civil award agreement for a term ending on September the 30th, 2025, in an amount not to exceed $1,977,500 from a grant received by the city from the U.S. Department of Commerce, Economic Development Administration to carry out workforce development activities. The Women's Foundation of Alabama will serve as members of the Worker Success Roundtable, contributing to the co-design of programming and training that is responsive to the needs of the industry and job seekers, alongside other training providers. It will recruit, train, support job seekers in accordance with the budget and capacity projects, primarily during the third phase of the grant program implementation pursuant to amendment number 772. Motion on the item, please.
I move approval.
Item is before you.
All right, discussion on this item. All right, seeing none, we're ready for the vote.
Okay. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay.
All right, item 13 is approved. That brings us to item 19.
Okay, item 19 has been requested to be withdrawn. Won't we delay? Okay, let's call the item up then, I'm sorry. Item 19, a resolution appointing 3 members to the Public Park and Recreation Board of the City of Birmingham. One term expiring July the 16th, 2026, one term expiring May the 9th, 2028, and one term expiring July the 16th, 2030.
So moved.
All right, second. Discussion on this item, Councilor Moore.
No, I wanted to pull this item and have it withdrawn. I'm sorry, to have it sent to committee.
You want to refer it to committee?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay, so it's a motion to refer to committee.
Second.
What committee?
Second.
Community development.
All right.
All right.
I'm sorry. More, Ms. Councilman Clark. All right. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay.
All right. Item 19 is referred to committee. So I believe that covers all of our agenda items. So we're at our announcements. Councilor Woods.
Yeah, I do. Sorry, I got blitzed by short-term rental emails. But the Sun Valley Neighborhood Association will be meeting tonight via Zoom, so that meeting will not be in person tonight. That will be at 6:30 p.m. via Zoom. And the Huffman Neighborhood Association will meet next Monday, the 27th. That meeting will be in person, so I want to invite everybody out to participate in that. And shout out to everybody. There were a lot of really impactful MLK events on yesterday. And so just excited to kind of see them continue to carry that legacy, a lot of service projects, as well as just informing the public and things like that. So excited to see some of those things continue. So just want to encourage that and get plugged into your neighborhood association meetings. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councilor Woods. Councilor Tate?
Thank you, Mr. President. Evergreen Neighborhood meeting will be held tonight at 5 p.m. at the Evergreen Missionary Baptist Church located at 2009 22nd Avenue North. East Thomas Neighborhood meeting will be held tonight at 6 p.m. and they meet on Zoom. Smithfield Neighborhood Estates meeting will be held tonight at 6 p.m. at the Daniel Payne Plaza, 1500 Daniel Payne Drive. South Pratt Neighborhood will be held tonight At 6 p.m. at Lively Hope Baptist Church located at 905 Court T, Indian Ridge neighborhood will be on Thursday, January the 23rd at 5:30, and they will also meet on Zoom as well. Drury Hill neighborhood meeting will be held on Monday, January the 27th at 6:30 at Protective Stadium located at 2100 Richard Arrington Boulevard. The next public safety meeting will be held on Tuesday, January the 28th, 1 p.m. Please submit agenda items by Wednesday, January the 22nd, no later than 12 noon to Greg Stanley at birminghamal.gov and Ashantas.cephas at birminghamal.gov. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to contact our office at 254-2302 or 254-2096. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Counselor Tate. Counselor Williams.
Thank you, Mr. President. Due to no items being submitted, today's Economic Development Tourism Committee meeting is canceled. The next work session will be Tuesday, February the 4th at 11:30 in conference rooms D&E. And if you could have your submissions to india.bailey@birminghamal.gov by Thursday, January the 30th, we would appreciate that. Crestline Neighborhood Association will be meeting Thursday, the 23rd at 6:30 at their regular location, Hope Church, Southeast Lake. We'll be meeting Monday, January 27th, 6 o'clock at East Lake United Methodist Church, and Crestwood South will be also meeting on January 27th at 6:30 at the Jewish Community Center. And that is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Williams. Pro Tem Alexander.
Thank you, Mr. President. These are announcements for District 7. I do want to echo Councilor Wood's comments about the numerous service projects that took place in the city of Birmingham yesterday. Just looking at social media and talking with different people and being present at some of those, we were very excited to see just the day of service. So thanks everyone for that. And I also want to echo, you can also please get involved in your neighborhood associations. This gives you a great opportunity to know what's going on in each of the neighborhoods. On Thursday, January 30th, there will be a Meet Your West Precinct Captain. Captain Raymond Cochran will be meeting from 5:30 to 7. So I ask all residents to come out and have this opportunity to meet and greet with the precinct captain. That'll be at the West Precinct at 2236 47th Street, Inslee, and that'll be held in the community room. Captain Cochran has made it really a charge of his. He's been attending neighborhood meetings since he's been appointed, wanting to get out and meet and greet with the citizens. So this will have your opportunity if you're not able to attend a neighborhood meeting. That's Thursday, January 30th from 5:30 to 7. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Pro Tem Alexander. Counselor Smithman.
Thank you, Mr. President. 5 Point South neighborhood will meet tonight at 6 p.m. in the South Hall of Highland United Methodist Church. The next Budget and Finance meeting will be this Monday, January 27th at 3:30 p.m. in the council chambers. Submissions are due tomorrow by noon, and then Woodland Park neighborhood will meet on Monday, this Monday, January 27th at Woodland Park Church of Christ at 6 p.m. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Counselor Abbott.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Planning and Zoning Committee meetings scheduled for tomorrow, Wednesday, January 22nd at 3:30 has been canceled. The Neighborhood Association meetings for tonight in District 3 are 5 Point South neighborhood at 6 o'clock at the Highlands United Methodist Church. I want to recognize Will Jones, the president of that neighborhood, who is here in the audience. Next Monday, January 27th, we'll have Crestwood South Neighborhood Association meeting at 6:30 at the Levite Jewish Community Center. If you have questions or issues in the city of Birmingham, certainly calling 311 is convenient, but having the app on your phone, the My BHAM 311 app, is even better because you can attach photographs and you can write the description of the problem exactly the way you want it and make sure that everything that you want to say is there. So I recommend the My BHAM 311 app. We're also asking residents of District 3 to please continue to visit our website for all of the information that we don't have time to tell you at this meeting because we only have 3 minutes. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Counselor Abbott. Counselor Moore.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Community Development Committee will take place today at 2 p.m. in council chambers. We have the East Birmingham Neighborhood Association meeting that will take place next Monday at the Shields Conference Center at 6 p.m., as well as the Kingston Neighborhood Association that will take place at the Royal Event Center at 6 p.m. as well. Let me see, we also have one board vacancy and one expired term on the Birmingham Park and Recreation. Birmingham Park and Recreation is to operate and maintain all City of Birmingham parks. Qualifications are you must be a resident of the City of Birmingham, registered voter, over 21 years of age, a taxpayer, and a real property owner. And that concludes all the announcements. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Moore. Councilor Clark.
Thank you, Mr. President. Neighborhood meetings in District 8 and community meetings. The 5 Points West Community Meeting will be this Thursday at 6 p.m. at West Precinct Community Rooms. There are no other neighborhood meetings scheduled this week. The Birmingham Museum of Art's Summer Camp 2025 registration and scholarship applications open February 1st, 2025. It's open to kids from 1st to 12th grade and will allow campers to explore the magic of art, drawing inspiration from nearly 30,000 original works from around the world. More information about dates and themes will be available soon. For any other questions about Summer Art Camp, you may contact Dawn Lee at dlee@artsbma.org or dial her up at 205-297-8151. I'm excited to share details about the upcoming Momentum Symposium. This is a free event created by the Alabama Symphony Orchestra to inspire and empower the next generation of music professionals. The symposium will take place on Friday, February 7th at UAB's Alice Stevens Center, featuring interactive workshops, keynote presentations, and panel discussions led by industry experts. In addition to the symposium, 2 free concerts will be held for the public on Thursday, February 6, 2025 at 7 p.m. The Alabama Symphony Orchestra will present a special performance featuring Shaheed and DJ Supreme, blending hip-hop and symphonic music at Jimerson Concert Hall. Also on Friday, February 7th at 7 p.m., you can join them in the same location for another extraordinary concert showcasing the, let me get this right, Aeolians of Oakwood University or Oakwood College. All events are free and open to the public, but registration is required. For more details and to register, please visit alabamasymphony.org. As we continue to navigate the second winter weather event of the month, I want to remind everyone to sign up for alerts from Jefferson County EMA. You can sign up on their website by going to jeffcoema.org to ensure that you're getting timely and accurate weather information and information on other urgent issues. I'm disappointed to learn that the planning and zoning meeting is canceled because I know several people who are interested in short-term rentals were anticipating another update and presentation. So please let us know how that is advancing through committee so that we can get to the ultimate disposition on that issue, that important issue for a lot of folks. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councilor Clark. I was happy to join Denise and Crystal Peterson yesterday for the official grand opening of Yo Mamas at their new location, not to be confused with Mom and Them's in District 8. Yo Mamas, I'm sure most folks in the city are familiar with their previous location on 2nd Avenue North. They're now in a huge space in the 4th Avenue parking deck right across the street from the Harbert Center. It's 2024 4th Avenue North. They have also, been in business for 10 years, and Crystal was telling this story yesterday that she initially started just to help her mom, get the restaurant started, and is still at it after 10 years. But a huge Birmingham success story. You may have seen them, on Netflix and other places, but it's really exciting for them to be in this vastly new space. I'm sure they really appreciate all the extra elbow room. Their kitchen is probably maybe even 10 times the size of the previous kitchen, but great to celebrate with them yesterday, even though it was pretty chilly for that ribbon cutting. So in District 5, we also have the Central City Neighborhood Association meeting tonight at 6 p.m. at the Birmingham Public Library, Central Library, located at 2100 Park Place. Southeast Lake Neighborhood Association will meet next Monday, January 27th at 6 p.m. at East Lake United Methodist Church. The Transportation Committee will meet Monday, January 27th at 2 p.m. here in the council chambers. Items can be submitted to the agenda by contacting Kimberly Phillips at kimberlyphillips@birmingham.al.gov. As we talked about in the presentations this morning, Creed 63 is taking applications for their PACE program from now until February 11th. If you need more information on that program, please visit www.creed63.com. And also, the Central Alabama Redevelopment Alliance will launch its 2025 Entrepreneurial Lab series on Friday, January 17th. That was last Friday. The drop-in hours will be 12:30 to 3 p.m., occurring every Friday. And for more information, you can go to www.caranow.org, and that concludes my announcements. Pro Tem Alexander.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I would be remiss if I did not mention, I do want to announce that Mrs. Harriet Littleton, the current president of the Garden Highlands neighborhood, as well as community president, she did announce on Friday her retirement from that position. And I just really want to thank her for her service. She's really worked hard. She leaves us just as we're getting in that guardrail that she's been asking for, and the work that we've been, and we've got some grants and got some opportunities to bring that forward. So I do want to thank her for her service, and she will truly be missed. I'm sure she'll still be at those neighborhood meetings, but just not in that leadership role. So thank you, Mrs. Littleton. Thank you, Mr. President.
Ms. Littleton's been an institution.
Yes.
I served with her on the CAB. So, all right. Mr. Clark, we're ready for our public speakers.
Just Shelby Jeffries. Okay.
Hi. Just come to the mic. Please remember to state your name and address, and you'll have 3 minutes. The time will be displayed on the monitors behind us. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, Mayor Woodfin, City Council members. Greeting to all. Thank you for the opportunity to speak and also for the work that you do and have done. My name is Shelley Jeffries. I'm located at 88 Trafalgar Square, Birmingham, Alabama, 35215. I'm also a minister and a servant of the Lord, and I come before you with a word and a message. First, let me begin with Reverend Martin Luther King's speech, I Have a Dream. He said, I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, every hill and mountain shall be made low, and the rough places will be made plain. The crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. He further said, this will be the day. This will be the day when all God's children will be able to sing with new meaning My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. What is this freedom? The freedom from sin, enslaved by bondage, by chains of lust of the eyes, enslaved by the chains of the pride of life. Freedom from the master of sin, freedom from his domain, the dark kingdom. If we are believers of Jesus Christ and of God's kingdom, why not give this city back to him? Racism, segregation, hatred, prejudice are fruit of the tree of unrighteousness, as are drug abuse, sex trafficking, gun violence, alcoholism, day one abortion, homelessness, and so forth. To destroy the fruit is to destroy the root. How do we destroy the root? We must repent and seek forgiveness, not individually, but collectively as one. For there are powers we cannot fight alone. The late and honored Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. continued to say, if America's to be a great nation, let freedom ring. Let freedom ring from every village, every hamlet, from every state, and every city. We will all be able to speed up that day with all of God's children, black men, white men, Jews, and Gentiles. Protestants and Catholics will be able to join hand and sing the old Negro spiritual song, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last. Again, we must be free from sin, iniquity, and transgression. For example, as the Lord so graciously gave it to me, he illustrated it to me as a book. I am seen as the middle page of this book. In order for me to be free, my ancestors must be free. In order for my children to be free, my generation, my grandchildren, and if the Lord should tarry, down to 1,000 generations, I must be free in order for them to be free.
Ms.
Again.
Jeffries, can you please wrap up your comments?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. I do apologize. You must ask, can my ancestors be free? Indeed, they can, according to 1 John 1:9. If we confess our sins, he is faithful and just to forgive us of our sins and cleanse us from all unrighteousness, past, present, and future. Secondly, to do so, we must solicit the help of the Almighty God. We must, as a city, a state, even a nation, call into prayer and fasting. What we have seen in time past and present is a spiritual war fought from a natural realm. No longer doing it your way, but God's way.
Thank you, Ms. Jeffries. Eric, next
Wynn.
speaker, please.
Eric Wynn.
Mr. Wynn.
back.
Yes,
And,
state your name and address. You have
Eric
3
Wynn,
minutes.
I can't remember the address. It's in Birmingham, somewhere, Gate City. We know who I am. We know what I'm about. I came here to apologize to Mayor Woodfin. The last couple of years, it's been stressful leading this movement to change the mindset of our youth. I've made a tremendous amount of mistakes. I owe this council an apology, and all the employees of the city of Birmingham. I owe so many people an apology. God has shown and revealed so much in my life, and I think we'll all agree that with the year we had last year and 3 mass murders, where February 16th, I believe it was, 4 people were shot. September 13th, July 13th, 4 people were shot on the north side. Markeisha Giddings was one of those old crush that I had. I've known Markeisha about 25, 30 years, and she was the sweetest. And then we had the Hush Lounge where 4 people were murdered and 17 people were injured. So just to put that in context, we had 3 separate incidents where 4 lives were taken from us. And the passion that you guys have witnessed from me over the last 4 or 5 years, that's why. That's why I've been so passionate. Alan Thomas was a 13-year-old boy, and that just isn't happening in Birmingham this year. But Alan Thomas was murdered just sleeping in his bed in Bessemer. We know how close Bessemer is to Birmingham. We know what's going on, right? I gave Randall some information. I wanted to give you some information. And who's the public chair now? Safety. Are you still, Ms. Tate, the public safety chair? I want to give the public safety chair just something to think about, right? What if we see individuals commit some of the heinous crimes in our community, in our city, right? And those individuals have to be stopped, have to be contained, right? We understand that. Children, 16 and 15 years old, are riding around in their child's mother's car, and they're terrorizing our community, and that has to be stopped. But what if, Ms. Tate, what if the mind of those individuals committing those acts of violence are being controlled by something greater than themselves or this community or this great chamber? What if it's being controlled by a system that involves the United States government, not local government, but the United States government? Who's making guns more accessible every year? Governor Kay Ivey, right? If Governor Kay Ivey walk in, she don't get the disdain that I get. I'm in your schools and your communities begging, drilling the message of unity in your kids.
Mr. Nguyen, could you please wrap up your comments?
How long have I been?
You've had 3 minutes, so your time has expired.
Well, that's all I wanted to get you guys to think about. I have some information that can prove that music is conditioning the black population in the United States, and that's by design to think that guns is cool, gun violence is how you resolve conflict. And until we start addressing violence on that level, we're never going to get nowhere. It's going to get worse. So we can expect violence to get extremely worse in predominantly black neighborhoods and cities until we start addressing the root.
Thank you, Mr. Nguyen.
Any questions?
All right. Want to thank our officers on duty. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you. Thank you.
This morning we have with us, as always, Officer Cedric Pinkard, based here in City Hall. We also have with us Officer Jones from West Precinct and Officer Lawrence from East Precinct. Thank you for being with us. With that, we are... Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
Yeah, it's freezing. I thought about standing up and putting my coat back on.
A lot of times, during long holiday weekends, that gives extra day for people to get into trouble, maybe cause more violence because they may not need as much to do in the city. Well, we're trying to do this to bring fellowship to young black men, especially people who like to hoop. This is giving something positive in the community. This is about service, giving back to our community. And that's what Dream Mentality is about, the organization that's co-hosting this with me, promoting fellowship and promoting hope.
Like Dr. King said, darkness can't drive by darkness. Only light can do that. Hate can't drive by hate. Only love can do that. So that's why we're here, just spread love, get back to the city, fellowship, and just have a good time. We got a lot of great performances tonight. John Jr., Boss Man Mike, Gunna Black, and we're going to have great tunes by DJ A1.
I've been feeling my muscles, seeing the definition of the people living my stories, breaking the definition. On the best of my city, moving from the beginning. I'm not in one thing, God is just different. Hey, listen, I mean it's just different. Yeah, oh yeah.
And stuff like this gives us opportunity to come together, fellowship, and get away from the negative things. You may not have been identifying yourself as Dream Mentality, but you are Dream Mentality. What does Dream Mentality mean? Dream Mentality means a mindset for constant self-improvement in the pursuit of your highest potential in life, regardless of what society say you can and cannot achieve.
My core values and Dream Mentality core values, one is hope, love, respect. And so, Martin Luther King was all about love and having light and driving out the darkness. And so, having these type of events, Dream Mentality has had these type of events since this past summer, and they haven't had one fight to happen or really any cussing words or anything like that. And that's so rare when you have a basketball pickup game, especially street ball. Usually people break out to fighting, but there's just a level of respect amongst the men on and off the court, and that's really amazing. A lot of times
So currently we're in District 4 over here in the Norwood neighborhood. Had an opportunity to come out here with Neighborhood Housing Services again to look at the home of another resident that got some work done, some critical housing repair. They did some bathroom work here, and so just excited about seeing this after.
My name is Camilla Ann Harvey Smith. I was a Harvey when I first moved in this house. I moved here in 1996.
We are at a home that we partner with Councilman J.T. Moore to give her some critical repairs. And so this particular individual had a variation of issues with her home.
In the bathroom, the face bowl, it was stopped up with water. When it rained 3 or 4 days, the water bags up and started coming up through the pipe in the face bowl. The water never did come up in the tub, but the tub was so low, I would have to strain to get in the tub. And when I get out the tub, somebody had to help me up out the bathtub.
So if you look right behind me, one of the first things that we did was exterior paint and trim. We also did a complete gut of her bathroom. In addition to that, we fixed some plumbing issues as well as a vanity on the second level of the house. One of the vanities did not have access to cold water, so that was something that we fixed as well. So these are one of those situations where we want to come in and help as much as possible because the homeowner is elderly. And so in relation to the bathroom remodeling, we also added some handicap accessibility so that they have more mobility as it relates to getting in and out of the shower as well as using the restroom.
The contractors that did the work, very good, very nice, very manageable, and they gave me all the respect in the world, and they did their work excellent. They asked me, was it good for me? Was it fine? Did I like it? And I told them, yes. I loved everything that they did, and I really appreciate what they done for me.
We're getting the opportunity to change people's quality of life in real time. We just get to help people, nothing more, nothing less. We just get to help people.
I really appreciate the work that you had done around here in this neighborhood, and it was nice meeting you. You be blessed, and may God bless you, and you continue up the good work that you're doing.